You are looking live at a daily chart of the Nasdaq, which didn't do much today. Welcome to my daily review. It's Tuesday, July 23, and the Nasdaq made no progress today. It was down 10%, 10 points, which is negligible, 0.6%. You call it flat here on lighter volume. All eyes are on earnings, so the index is being cautious. These mega cap technology stocks have run a lot and they drive the Nasdaq. And so they're just kind of pausing now after a sharp little pullback here that we see. This is when you see something like that, when they pull back so quickly, 18,655 down to 17,726. That's a sharp pullback. And it takes a while to get, that back, right? Very rarely do we see the index pull back and then rally right back through, like it did here, sold off and then took a long time before it got back to its old high. So maybe we can gradually get through there, but today it was just flat. And you could see by looking at that graph there that it's still, it's 0.4% below that green line, which is a 10 EMA. It's right flat with the 21 and then 2.9% above this rising 50. So the power trend ends. I was asked, when does the power trend end? Power trend end was 21 trades below the 50. And so we're a long way from that. Just hang in there. Let's see how it does versus the 21 here as these earnings reports come in. But the Nasdaq is not the leading index right now. It's clearly the small cap IWM, the Russell. This is gaining momentum here. You can see it made this big move, pulled back to the 10, found support, and it's been up the last 2 days. It was up yesterday, which was Monday, 1.59%. Today it was up a little over 1%. So these small caps, and I'm going to get to them in a minute, some of the stocks that are doing well in the small cap group. The MDY is also leading, not as strong as the small caps. This is the S&P mid cap 400. You can see it made a move higher, pull back to the 10, found support, much like the IWM or the Russell 2000, just not quite as strong. The SPY looks, a little like the Nasdaq. It's a tick above the 21, so it's slightly stronger than the Nasdaq. Once again, driven by the mega cap tech stocks, and then the Dow Jones Industrial Average made that high at 41,376, and now it's pulled back to the 10, still trading, a tick above the 10, so it's a little stronger. And the Nasdaq is the lagging index because we've seen a lot of selling in mega cap tech stocks prior to their earnings report, and I believe that's healthy and it's going to bode well for these tech stocks in the next few weeks. But we have to, acknowledge what's working now, and as we see this rotation into the small and mid cap stocks, we have to acknowledge it. I'm just going to quickly go through these mega cap stocks. This is Apple reports August 1st, just pulled back to the 21, going sideways, not doing a whole lot. 1.2% above its 21, so hanging in there, doing okay. Microsoft had the pretty rough news last week with CrowdStrike, traded down to the 50 and now it bounced on Monday slightly, not a big bounce, 1.3%, and then up another 0.5% today. But they're going to report, this is all going to be determined by how they report earnings. And if they report strong earnings, as I suspect they will, then these stocks will likely be hunting their old highs there. So keep that in mind. Meta Platforms, they report on the 31st, just traded below its 50. Now it's trying to rally back above, closed just a tick below its 50 today. Amazon, same thing, below the 50, now trying to rally back above, just a tick below now, up more than 2% today. So those stocks are looking better, trying to heal, undercut their 50, then rally back through. Something that we've seen quite a bit this year, 2024. This is NVDA, the king of AI. If the market's going to go higher, this thing's going with it. If the market's going lower, this thing's probably going to take it there. Traded down to its 50, found support, and now it's just right at these converging moving averages. To me, this looks, it's not quite ready yet. but NVIDIA is getting ready to make a move here. Yeah, maybe not this week, but not too distant future as it pinches in here a little more around that 125 area. And if you've held that from, the breakout here, yeah, there's nothing to do here but hold the stock, or even here from the 96 level. I mean, this thing's acting fine. And anyway, I'm going to move on from the Mag 7 stocks. And let's get to what was working today. General Electric reported earnings this morning and had a really strong response. It closed, it didn't close near the high of the day. When you see these, I like to see them close near their highs, but it saw some selling and it closed 59% of its daily range, traded up to 177. But anything above that 171 area, I like GE, and I believe this thing's actionable now. So you're going to see GE on our ready list there at 171. Me likey. Another one that reported this morning was LMT, Lockheed Martin. This is an aerospace defense stock. Another nearly 6% move here for Lockheed. And you can see the hammer candle here where it closes near its highs, 90% of its daily range, which is what I want to see on a breakout, not like GE. Selling and closing at 59% of its daily range. It's not the end of the world. It's just, you kind of want to see them power higher, close higher. It's an indication that they're going to, probably have some buyers in tomorrow. You can see this is the rally here, then it's sold off towards the close, which you really don't want to see. LMT, the exact opposite, kind of hesitated, stop and go, back and forth, and then really ramped into the close. So there were some buyers into the close for Lockheed Martin on that 5-minute chart. So that looks good. I haven't even checked Raytheon. This is in the group, still setting up in a base. I kind of like this setup here. When do they report earnings? The 25th, which is what, Thursday, needs to trade above this downtrending line. Keep that one in mind there. Raytheon looks pretty good. NOC is Northrop Grumman, another one of these defense. Whoo, boy, that looks horrible. All right, enough of that. I'm just playing around here. FTAI Aviation, this one looks good to me too. Why? Because it's kind of flagging a little bit. Now, it hasn't formed a base in a long time. So this makes me a little leery here. Here's the last time it broke out of a base. It was 40 bucks. Now it's trading at what, 107? But it is flagging here a little bit. So I do like the, the formation here and here, the higher lows. But man, I would love to see this more like that, Marty. There you go, pinch in. They're going to report the 23rd. Hey, that's today. So looks like they reported after hours. So anyway, there's a lot of stocks reporting after hours that I haven't gotten to yet. So anyway, I'll get to them. All right. So the aerospace defense group was strong. Another group that I have to mention is the home builders and the banks. I'm going to go to the banks first. Heck, what the heck am I doing here? TFC Truist, they reported this morning, I believe, or yesterday. Anyway, this thing's rocking higher, broke out of this cup with handle. And these regional banks are just, they're showing up on the new high pages every day. This is like shooting fish in a barrel with this group. RF, Regions Financial, 20 billion, market cap stock. That's not a real small one either. Double bottom base pattern. You can see this pull back to a moving average. This is classic textbook. Then breaking out higher. They don't report till October, so they must have just reported too. I got to be honest, I don't know when all these stocks report earnings. Cadence Bank, they reported already. Broke out of this consolidation pattern. Like I said, this is like shooting fish in a barrel with these things. They're just all going higher, it seems like. But they're not all, making new highs, but a lot of them are. There's like 6 pages of new highs, and I swear half of them are these bank stocks. You can see on the weekly chart, the move off the moving average, up, nearly 6% this week already. Came up to that old buy point of 31.45, pulled back to a moving average, and that's textbook stuff right there, folks. HBAN, they reported last Friday. I know that because I had them on my ready list. Just a 1-day give back. 1-day give back on Thursday. They reported Friday, had a nice response, and then now is up Monday and again on Tuesday. So this one's rocking, making new highs. There's your pullback, 1 day. 14 cents, then moves higher, 4%. Friday, another move of 1% yesterday, and now 0.5% today. So we'll take that. We like stocks going higher. That's going in the right direction. SASR, another one making new highs. And this is a smaller, these small cap bank stocks, 1.4 billion. It only trades 300,000 a day, but you know what? I like performance. I like my stocks going higher. And if it's thin, oh well. You can see this one rallied off its bottom 14% 2 weeks ago, 10% last week, and already up 6% this week. So, I don't know what to tell you. I like stocks going higher. So, like I said, this is like shooting fish in a barrel. Every now and then you'll get it. Stocks are like, dogs. They travel in packs, and these ones are woofing. They're really running together and running hard. So you got to participate in something like this. This is Fifth Third. This is a little larger bank, 28 billion, but obviously broke out of this cup-shaped pattern. No handle here. It just kind of went sideways for a couple days. And if you didn't get it, it's making new highs. So once again, you got to look at the weekly chart on these. Looks like almost like a short stroke pattern from last week, up 7%, up 6.5%, and now up another 0.5% this week. So Fifth Third, another one of these strong banks. Zion, this is one that I bank with here in Arizona, broke out of the base, pulled back to the moving average, found support, blasted higher, 6%. I think they reported this morning or yesterday. There's just so many earnings reports, can't keep up with all of them. This is Western Alliance Bancorp. You can see this double bottom base followed by this cup with handle, like a base on base pattern here. So that's a lot of consolidation, then finally moving higher. This is Western Alliance. This is one that headquartered in Phoenix, but it got in trouble when the Silicon Valley bank imploded. I think it was March of 2023. Anyway, it was up 7% 2 weeks ago, 14% last week. And this looks like a little short stroke pattern, but it's still up 2% this week. It's only been 2 days. So just got to point out the strength here. And since I said all of them are moving higher, they're not. This is Home Street, HMST. This is a flea of a company, 260 million, very thinly traded, but like I said, this is one of those micro cap stocks. It's just consolidating in a base. So you see all these other ones making new highs, and this one's lagging, trading tight near its moving averages. They reported earnings today, so maybe it'll move tomorrow. I don't know. I'll have to check up on that one. Anyway, I think we've heard enough from the bank stocks. I got to go to another group that's traveling in packs like a pack of wolves. This is the home builder stocks. This is a Tri Pointe Homes, TPH, obviously broke out of this, it undercut the 50 and then rallied back above this one day on 7-11, July 11th, 8%. And that's why we acknowledge those moves. And now it's just making higher highs. But they report on July 25th, which is Thursday. So be careful there. GRBK, this is home builders in the South. Dallas, Atlanta, they specialize like their home area. Got to go to the weekly here. I think it showed better here. This long consolidation here, this cup with handle, a flat base or just a consolidation pattern, broke out 2 weeks ago, 20% move not to be ignored. Last week up 11%, and this week already up 3.3%, making new highs. So, just a really strong stock making new highs. It's a smaller stock, 3 billion market cap. Lennar is a little bigger here, 48 billion, but you can see this one in a double bottom base pattern, undercut the 50 and rallied right back through it. Now it's trading right there near its old buy point there of 121.27, 171.27. It tried to break out here on this day, went up to 177 and then pulled back. So I kind of like the pullback. Get it closer to that moving averages. Let them catch up because it made a sharp move off the bottom. So give this one some time. But I like Lennar there at 171 area. And it looks pretty good. They're not going to report earnings for a long time. They already reported earnings. Another one that I like in the group is KBH. This one already broke out following its earnings report. That was this day, I believe here. Yeah, 10% move, not to be ignored. It just keeps rallying higher. So pull back 2 days, allowing the moving averages to catch up. That's a really strong stock right there. Another one that I don't mention very often, but is definitely a one to watch in this group. This is NVR. It's a 27 billion market cap stock, but it's it's got a price tag of $88,600, and it only has 2.9 million shares in the float. So that's not a lot of shares. And you could see how this one has moved in the past, had this big consolidation. This is during the bear market here, then started moving last year as the bull market got going, had this big move and now consolidating, and now it's starting to break out of this base here. It was up $640 or nearly 9% 2 weeks ago, and then 4.5% last week. So this is a big dog in this group, and so is DR Horton. Another stock that is broken out, trading higher, needs to allow its moving averages to catch up. When you see these stocks that, rally straight off their lows here from 133, up to, 175, that's going to need some time to pull back a little bit or even just go sideways. You can't expect them to just go rocket to the moon. There's going to be some profit taking. So you got to allow these moving averages to catch up. Maybe we can catch it later on a pullback day. This is the one I like in the group. It's the largest one. It's liquid, lot of volume, $58 billion stock. So that's a good one. And if you don't like buying individual stocks and be subjected to earnings report, Nail is one of the ETFs. I just showed you a bunch of stocks within Nail. I like owning the leading stocks in the group, because when you buy an ETF, an exchange traded fund, you're getting the laggards along with the leaders. So I'd rather, I think I have a big enough ego that I can have the trading acumen to figure out who the leaders are and kind of own those. But if you don't want to do the work, you can just buy Nail, and you can see this is in a double bottom base, kind of like Lennar here a little bit, with that 132.20 buy point. And this looks fine to me. And like I said, if you don't want exposure to, the individual earnings reports, you can definitely buy that one. And ITB is another one, the home construction iShares exchange traded fund. Once again, this one looks like Nail. It looks like, Lennar, like some of the home stocks that I showed you that, tried to break out and then pull back. Looks like a double bottom base and tried to break out straight up from the bottom. And that's because of the rates. There's an anticipation that the Federal Reserve is going to lower rates maybe 1 or 2 times this year. So the rate sensitive stocks are doing better. That's why you're seeing the banks move higher, and that's why you're seeing the home builders move higher. And I'm not really into finding a reason why a stock is going up. It just I just kind of use the chart and the fundamentals, and but that is a reason why these rate sensitive stocks are trading higher. Anyway, that's it for the defense stocks, the bank stocks, the home builder stocks. I have to take a look at some of the software names. This is a real hit and miss category. Spotify reported just really stellar earnings. I was impressed today. Obviously, I took them off. I sold this stock, took them off my leading stock list because it rallied below, it traded below its 50. And that's just one of my rules. It served me well, but now I miss a move like this, right? I didn't hold through earnings. And so now I have to buy it back, and I have to buy more, and I have to buy it at higher prices. But that's just, I consider it like insurance. You pay insurance. So now the new data point is in. It traded up today. To me, this was a disappointing day for Spotify. I know, how could it be disappointing? It was up 12%. Well, because it rallied higher, and it went up to what, 340 something, 340, 340, and then sold off all day. I mean, there was just no buyers coming in, and it's got a gap to fill. Not that gap. It's got an old gap to fill here at what was it, 324? Did it make it down to 324 today? It did not. So that's what I'm a little worried about here. This gap at 324.56. But like I said, it closed what was it, 25%, in the lower quartile of its daily range, which is something I don't want to see. The positives are it's breaking out of a base. It's breaking out with massive volume. Anytime a stock is up 12% with that kind of volume, that is a move not to be ignored. But it closed in the lower quartile of its daily range, and that's kind of a negative. And it has a gap to fill at 324.56, which is kind of a negative. But it also has a standard buy point here at 331.08. So there's a lot going on with Spotify. I bought it back around 331. I'm flat or maybe underwater a little bit, but I also have the ability to buy more because I like the stock. I think longer term, this is going to be a huge winner. I mean, it already has been, right? But breaking out of this flat base, 7-week flat base area, and you can see the earnings line heading north. So I'm kind of a fundamental guy too, along with the chart. So that looks really good to me. Their subscriber growth was really strong, and that was what buoyed the stock today. VERX is another one. This one just keeps going higher. Broke out of the base and supporting. This is a Kelly Slater stock, surfing its 10 EMA, and we're not seeing many software names looking like this. But man, look at their earnings line due north and the stock's going due north. This is a really strong stock, one that I like a lot. I like any stock making new highs. Who are you kidding? Taskus, another one that had this base pattern, finally broke out now, and they have earnings August 6th, but this one looks strong too. I like stocks making new highs. Computer tech services stock. This is a TaskUs. This is a Texas, New Braunfels, Texas company. Another one that's got a 1.4 billion market cap, 17 million shares in the flood. So it's a very small company, but a strong stock. So I like stocks making new highs. Other ones that we're more familiar with are ZETA Global. This is one that broke out of this base here. You can see it traded kind of tight and sideways in its base and then just really ramped higher. It's been up like 10 days in a row. This thing's making a nice move here and made a new high. They report earnings July 31st. KD is another one that I like. Why? Well, it's trading tight within its base and it's allowing the moving averages to catch up. This looks really nice to me. Wait for one day when it pulls back here sharply to shake some fools out, and then probably pull back to the 50 and then race through that 28.60. But it's doing nothing wrong. It's been up the last few weeks. This week up 1% as the Nasdaq trades. Nasdaq's had a good week so far, but it's been stuck to the 21. And I think I have one more. APPF, AppFolio. It's a thinly traded stock, 278,000 shares a day, but it has a $270 price target, 10 billion. So we'd call that small to mid cap stock. But this thing recently broke out of a base on this date here, July 12th. Nice 5% move, and now it's just trending higher. So that's another software name that looks good. Another group that looks good are the insurance stocks. Bro reported earnings this morning. Wall Street liked it. How do I know? Well, gosh, it was up 5.25%. So that looks pretty good. And you just notice one thing here. If I zoom in, it just, it had that old 93.75 buy point. It just gradually drifts back. After the move higher, it just drifts quietly back. Nobody talks about it. Then it has earnings and bam, it's up 5.25%. Thank you very much. So it's doing fantastic. AJG, this is Gallagher. This is a much bigger company. This is a 60 billion market cap. Base pattern, pullback. You can see these sharp pullbacks just shaking people out as it trades back to its 50 right here. This is what, 5 out of 6 days it pulls back and then rallies higher. And then look at this shakeout. 2 more days, 266 to 251. No, thank you. And then what does it do? It resumes its uptrend. trading above its 10 EMA. So, but if you're like me and you don't sell until it, slices its 50 with volume and way below its 50, not just, 0.5% below its 50. This did not shake out people who use those rules. It shakes out, day traders and stuff. All right, that's it for Gallagher. PLMR, this is a thinly traded stock. Another one of these small cap, 2.2 billion, not a lot of volume, but setting up in a base here. I kind of like this, how it sets up base on base, and it pulled back here to the 10 on Monday, and then closed near the high here. You had this, I'm going to go to a 5-minute chart here in a minute, but you can see it close at the top of its daily range. Nice hammer candle, and then followed through today 1.3%. So that's something to watch for here, as this one wants to move away from its base. Look at that. That's how thinly traded it is. Yeah, wow. Anyway, PLMR, that's why I don't have it on my radar. It's just a little thin for me. And the last one is Jackson Financial. We had this on our ready list last week. I really should have had it this week, but I took it off because we had a good trade. Another one that was trading tight within the base, pulled back to its 50. That's why, you kind of wait. It was, how much below the 50 was it? Yeah, less than 0.5%. So, that's not on lighter volume. So that's not, you got to give them some wiggle room. And it's just blasted higher, traded sideways, and now moving higher again. So Jackson Financial looks fantastic. I got to get to a couple of these semiconductor names that I'm liking. Broadcom had that 10-for-1 stock split, pulled back to the 50, and now showing strength again. NXPI reported earnings last night. They bombed 8% today, sliced to 50. That's an adios muchachos. Why? Well, it's 4% below the 50 and did it with volume. I mean, and the earnings wasn't, the earnings was okay. The guide was not that great. ARM is one that I have on my ready list. And while the semiconductor stocks were weak today, this one was up 5%. So take notice of this one. That 164 buy point area, and if the semiconductors start getting some love later on this week or even tomorrow, this one could ramp to new highs. So yeah, I bought that one today, 164, because I sold Elf and Novo, and I was underinvested and I had to buy a few things. So Coin was one, and ARM was another one. All right, that's it for me. Thank you for watching. Very interesting week coming up. We've got earnings, lots of movement. And I'm excited for all that's going on. I'll have more on tonight's earnings in the morning. So thank you for watching. And I lied. I have one more thing. I want to get to tonight's earnings report. I didn't have a chance to go through, all the reports or listen to any conference calls or anything. But I did hear, read that Google had beaten on top and bottom line. The only area that was weak for them was YouTube, did not meet estimates, but it's up nearly 1% after hours. This is a little slower mover, but tonight's earnings report, I don't see, it selling off much. It beat on all metrics except for that YouTube. And also they have their dividend. What is it? 20 cents dividend, something like that. Anyway, I'll have more in the morning on that one. Tesla report was hit and miss, kind of iffy, down 4% after hours. Yeah, their margins, I'm not going to say anything. I'll have a report in the morning. Tesla had this big move, made that stage 1 base, moved higher, now pulled back. Maybe it'll pull back to the 21, who knows? 236, 237 after hours. We'll see. I'll have more on that in the morning. As I said, Visa reported tonight. I did not even read Visa's, just saw it was down 2%. This is another one of those slow movers, just consolidating within a base, trading below its 200. So that doesn't look all that great. Texas Instruments. This is one that's going to move the semiconductor space. This is a big 180 billion market cap stock. Texas Instruments is a big kahuna, and it's up 4% after hours, 4.5%. Consolidating within a base, pulled back to the 50. And let's see if we could get back above that 206 level. That would be a buy point there where I would even take a swing at this one tomorrow at 206. If, depending upon the volume and the strength of the move here tomorrow. Definitely one that I'm interested in, though. Texas Instruments, when they make moves like that, they piqued my interest. Hello, I can't spell. I'm challenged. I'm keyboard challenged. Enphase up 5% after hours. This is the doggy diner. This is the dog pack trading in the wrong direction, but you know, it's up 5% after hours. I was interested in this one around 130 as it was consolidating in the stage one base. Thought I could break out higher, but no dice. Got the Motambo treatment at the moving averages here and trading lower. So we'll see what happens with these solar stocks. And then the last one was one that gosh, you know, I knew this was going to be a good report because these stocks have been, it's a cyclical business and they're in the right cycle right now. They're just starting a new cycle and they're, yeah, this is Seagate Technology, STX up 6% after hours. I did not even read the earnings report. I just saw the response and that stands to reason. You can see, you know, I talked about the cyclical nature of these businesses. You can see here the downtrend. Here's the downtrend for 2 years, maybe. Then it went bottomed a little bit, and now we're starting an uptrend, and it should be 2 years in an uptrend because that's the way these cyclical names work. In the group are Micron. You can see this one, you know, cycle down, now cycle up. Pure Storage, another one in this group. So I'm very interested in these. They sold off pretty hard here. So I think you're getting these at decent prices here. Pure Storage near the lows of this little box area between 70 and 60. That looks pretty good. Western Digital, another one in this group below the 50, but has the ability to trade through. So watch these tomorrow following the Seagate Technology report tonight. But I believe Google, that report will be enough to buoy the Nasdaq tomorrow. We have more earnings reports in the morning. Anyway, at mcstockcharts.com, we never give up. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.